Good evening, everybody. It's a Thursday night. This is episode 6 of the NyteTime podcast. I am your host, Matt Higgins, and it's been a couple weeks since I put out an episode. Got a lot of shit to talk about. A lot of stuff has happened. Some of it's important, some of it's not in the grand scheme of things, but we're going to cover it. As always, in the description will be all my links to my social media. And I say we get right into it. Got a lot of articles saved. A lot of weird shit. And the world is definitely not short on weird shit. So, first thing. A guy in Kansas died from a gunshot wound that he took to the back while he was sitting in a pickup truck. Who shot him? His dog. Obviously, we'll never know what was going on through in the dog's mind. They're ruling it a hunting accident, but what happened was the guy had hunting gear and a gun loaded, chambered, laying in the back, and the dog stepped on it and caused it to discharge. Shot him in the back, and he subsequently died. I won't spend too much time on this, other than I am usually happy when stuff like this happens to guys that shouldn't have guns. And obviously you shouldn't have a gun if you think it's a good idea to leave it loaded and chambered in the back seat with another live animal just wandering around. That's not how you safely transport your weapons. What would have happened had a child been in the front seat? You know what I mean? So, luckily it was confined to the one douchebag who ended up dying. Of course, I feel for the dog, the trauma of having killed somebody unintentionally. I mean, hopefully there's therapy for the dog. Yeah. So, anyway. Hunters, if you're going to go out and hunt and you're going to eat what you hunt and, you don't waste the animal, that's fine with me. Guys that go out to trophy hunt, I think it's horse shit. I think it's just a power move. It's guys that, have some kind of insecurity. They got to go out and kill another animal for no other reason than sport. I think it's stupid. I'm in the minority, probably. It's a big minority, but there are a lot of people that would take my opinion. I won't, disabuse you of your hobbies. I just think it's chicken shit. Now, if you go out there and hunt animals with a knife, if you're going to do it for sport, do it for sport. Give the animal a chance. But, like I said, that's just my opinion. Next article. A Texas high school teacher and youth pastor was among nearly 50 arrested in a prostitution sting. A youth pastor in Texas, no less, where they fear God unless their dick gets in the way, and then I guess they figure, if you don't sin, Jesus died for nothing. So now if we're being open and honest, I think prostitution should be legal. I think a woman can do whatever she wants with her body. Carlin had a great viewpoint on this, and it sums it up perfectly and succinctly. If selling is legal and fucking is legal, why isn't selling fucking legal? It makes perfect sense to me. I've always wondered that. I assume the big reason is if it's not regulated, then you're making money off the books, and the government can't get its taxes. And that's really all they care about is the taxes. They just want to get paid. They don't want you getting paid unless they're getting paid too. So, yeah, it's too bad. High school teacher and a youth pastor caught in a prostitution ring. Do as I say, not as I do. I think it must say somewhere in the Bible, because that seems to be the mantra. I'm just saying, if you're going to be holier than thou and belong to a large group of people that likes to take the moral high ground over horse shit from a fictional book and tell everybody how to live their lives, you should probably live the way you're preaching others to live. I know that's hard to grasp for you religious folk, but you know, I guess that's just my opinion. Opinions are like assholes. Everybody has one, right? A couple weeks ago, a fucking asteroid came really close to Earth. And we didn't find out about it until, less than a week before it happened. Now, I don't know if that unnerves anybody else, but it definitely causes me to have pause, because this thing was going to fly 2,200 miles away from the Earth. Do you know how fucking close that is? That's inside satellite orbit. Now, obviously, I'm recording now, so we lived through it. It didn't hit anywhere, fortunately, but it brings up a great point that people don't often think about, because there's so much shit going on in the world, and you're so worried about surviving your day-to-day stuff that you don't look at the bigger picture, that we could get taken out just like that in an instant, because half the shit we can't see because we don't have enough money to create the telescopes and pay the people to watch the skies like we should. And secondly, if it's coming from the sun's direction, we're not going to see it anyways, because, you know, the sun, it's bright. I just thought that was pretty fucking scary, that, you know, 2,200 miles, fucking A, dude. That's close. That's fucking close. Space is a scary fucking thing. We are definitely at risk. And you know, and not to make light of the shit that's going on here on Earth that could kill us at any moment. You know, war, famine, starvation, disease, natural disasters. Every once in a while, space likes to remind you that, hey, you're an active participant in my game, and every once in a while, I'm just going to send you a ball of dirt and metal, just to remind you I could take you out any fucking time I like. The universe is funny that way. Gosh, Michael Hite is accused of killing his wife and 5 kids in a brutal Utah familicide. He had a troubling pattern of aggression towards his children. So, who failed in that scenario? Five kids murdered by their own fucking dad. He killed his mother-in-law too, you know, don't want to forget her. And the killings came approximately 2 weeks after his wife filed for divorce. I don't... Obviously, this guy had some problems. The article says he had a propensity for violence. He was an aggressive patriarch, prone to physically assaulting his eldest daughter and stealing his wife's electronics to secretly read her text messages in the years leading up to the calamity. He was a Mormon. Gosh, a religious person. Couldn't have seen that coming. I'm not going to beat religion over the head over this one. This is obviously just a piece of shit that didn't deserve to have a family or a wife. How much religion played a part in his way of thinking, who knows? I do know that we need better systems in place to check people like this, and to make sure that if something's brought up where children are involved, and the female too, she's vulnerable, because it's almost a no-win situation for her too. You got 5 kids, an abusive husband. Where are you going to go with 5 kids? She's got to face that kind of shit. She finally files for divorce, after who knows how long she was thinking about it. And what happens 2 weeks later? He fucking kills them all anyways. So, if you should have to take a test to be a parent, just like you should have to take a test for a lot of the other things that we let you do. Drive a car, work at a job, being a parent. If you're going to procreate, you should have to take a test. Psych test as well. Not just an IQ test, but a psych test. Fucking A. 5 fucking kids. I don't like kids. I'm not a big fan of kids. Even though I have one, I love my daughter to death. But I was never a big fan of children in general. And then I had my daughter, and, I loved her to death. I'll always love her. I liked a few of her friends, but she was my kid, so I was responsible for her anyways. But you have that natural bond, and she's grown up to be a great woman. She's young and fierce and independent, strong, smart. And every child that's born should have that opportunity, okay? Don't bring fucking abortion into this yet. That's a totally separate discussion. And it never once crossed my mind to kill my child, no matter how bad things got. I thought about killing my wife a couple times, not gonna lie. My ex, man, we all have some dark thoughts, but we don't act on them. That's what separates us from the rest of these fucking idiots. And I didn't act on mine. But, there were times where I thought we all would have been better off had she not continued living. Hell, there were times I thought about killing myself. I went through a very rough stage of some mental health issues, which I'm still recovering from. But I never once thought about killing my child. And I never once forgot I had a child. Like when you're driving around to the store and shit, I never once left my child in the fucking car in the heat. Those parents that do that shit to their kids, I don't believe for a second you just forgot. How fucking stupid do you have to be to forget you have a child in your car? And I don't care what your fucking routine is. You're still a parent. There's got to be something in your brain that is ticking, that's always on in the back of your mind. Hey, you've got your fucking kid with you. Don't forget it. These judges that hand down these sentences, well, I can't think of a worse punishment for the parents than what they've already suffered by losing their child. Well, I can think of a worse punishment. They go to jail, they lose their freedom for the rest of their lives, and they get to think about it in there. That'll be worse than going on and living your life outside of prison. So, I think if we actually started punishing people, and this is where I side with, conservatives and Republicans on a lot of things. I believe in the death penalty, and I believe in carrying out the death penalty, and I believe in harsh sentences for people that kill other people if it's proven that it's not in self-defense. For getting your fucking kid in the car to die in the sweltering heat. And what a shitty way to go. Not only can you not express yourself and cry for help, you're in a body where you just sit there and completely suffer in pain without being able to do anything about it. You're totally helpless. And you sit there and boil to death. Fuck those parents. And fuck this guy who killed his 5 kids. Anyway, moving on. God, that pisses me off. As much as I don't like kids, they need to be protected. This is a good one. This is from Florida. Florida is a great source of material. A 35-year-old man was arrested after he allegedly pulled out a gun while waiting for his food because the order wasn't ready to go when he showed up. Matthew Davis went into Wingstop after submitting an online order that was reportedly supposed to be ready at 8:58 p.m. He went to the restaurant at 9:40 and the order was still not ready yet. So, right off the bat, I'm on this guy's side. It's almost an hour. Your shit's not ready yet. You show up way after it's supposed to be ready. Way after it's supposed to be ready. And it's still not ready. So surveillance video shows him sitting and waiting for his order, but he gets more agitated the longer he has to wait. An employee comes out, gives him a free drink, which is really a shit move. I know they're trying to make it up to him, but a free drink. I think after placing an order online, waiting an hour to show up, an hour after it was supposed to be ready. You showed up an hour after it was supposed to be ready, and it still ain't fucking ready. Your meal should be free. At 9:55, they tell him it's going to take even more time. To which he replies, "I'm going to go get my strap." So at this point, I kind of got to part ways with the guy. I was on his side right up until the thought went through his head that, well, I'll just go get my gun so I can kill people over this fast food order. I get that your time is important and, you're hungry. It seems like a simple request. You order the food, you pay for the food. They were gladly eager to take your money, and they didn't provide the service or product that you were promised through the social contract of the bartering system, money for services or product. Apparently the gun was unloaded and he was just trying to intimidate them, but he didn't harm anyone. He was stressed out because his mother passed away a few weeks prior to the incident. I've had a lot of people die in my life, a lot of family members, friends. It never occurred to me to wave a gun around at people because I'm stressed out. And if anybody's got a reason to, it's me. I am on so many fucking psychiatric drugs just so I can keep my shit together. But mental health, it's important. You need to take it seriously. If you're not feeling right, you need to go look for therapy. You need to look for help. Talk to somebody. Talk to anybody so that you don't end up like this fucking guy. Because this isn't going to be the last time that the service industry disappoints you. And next time, the gun might be loaded. Who knows? And you might just make the wrong decision. A more wrong decision. Let's see. George Santos I think everybody's heard about this fucking whack job by now. He ran for the House of Representatives in 2022 and won. He ran as a Republican. He lied about everything in his life, from who he was, to his name, to his history, to his work history. Anyway, and everybody knew he lied about it, and now that it's being proven out through news articles and fact-finding individuals, Kevin McCarthy knew that this guy was a piece of shit, yet he gave him committee assignments, I guess assuming that nobody would pitch a bitch about it. And now that all this stuff is coming out about him and it's getting traction, George is voluntarily stepping down from his committee assignments because he's too much of a distraction. You know, if he wanted to do the honorable thing, he would resign. He would step down from office because he's a lying piece of shit. And not that all politicians aren't liars in some way, shape, or form, but most of them don't lie about every single aspect of their life to get into politics. They don't normally lie about themselves. They lie about what they're going to do. They lie about problems that are happening to scare you into voting for them, but they won't lie about who they are in their past, because in this day and age, it's pretty fucking easy to find out whether or not you went to Harvard, or you went to Yale, or you worked for Goldman Sachs, or someplace else, or you played on a college sports team. This guy lied about fucking everything. And so he's voluntarily stepping down. Yeah. So George Santos, he is going to be probably a source of great material, entertainment, laughter, and sadness for a long time. Let's see, what else? San Francisco pizza shop fires employee who told police officers they were not welcome. I don't know what possesses these kids today to... I understand the animosity towards cops. I don't have any great love for them myself. I know there's a lot of good ones, but there's a shitload of bad ones too. And the problem with the good ones is they won't call out the bad ones, which makes the good ones bad. And in their defense, it is a fraternity, so every time a good cop does say something and calls out corruption, they end up getting fucking fired. So it's kind of a no win for them either. That's why the policing system in America needs to be revamped. It needs to be torn down and restructured from the ground up, as far as training, education, psych tests. All that shit needs to be thorough. It needs to be stringent, and you need to log more time in training as a police officer than a fucking beautician. Okay, I mean there's countries where you have to study for 2 years just to be a fucking cab driver. Here you get what, you get maybe 3-6 months in the academy, maybe. I don't know the exact number. I do know it's a very short amount of time for a job where you're going to get a gun and a badge, which provides you almost complete immunity and a license to kill. Maybe we should, look a little harder at the people we're giving those jobs to. That's just me. Having said that, if you work if you work at a public establishment that that serves the public goods and services, don't be a dick and tell a cop that you're not going to serve him because he's not welcome there. Okay, that's not the arena. That's not the time or the place to make that statement, because all you do is shit on the movement to rectify the problems with the police departments in general. It makes them look good, and it makes them look like the victim, and it makes you look like an asshole. You're going to get fired for it, and the cops are going to end up probably eating free there for fucking ever. So don't do it. Don't be a dick. Don't use your platform as a public service provider or a retailer or whatever, and deny a cop his food or his whatever he's buying or purchasing. Just don't do it. It's stupid. And this kid, gets, like I said, he gets fired for it, and then the company is forced to fucking get down on their knees and blow every cop. So that's not the time to do that. If you don't want to work there, then just quit. You know you're going to get fired if you do something that's stupid. So don't fucking exacerbate a situation that's already fucked up and tenuous at best. If you do something like that, you know you're going to get fired, which means you've made the decision you don't want to work there anymore. Just quit. Go out gracefully. Anyway, Donald Trump is attacking Ron DeSantis like the junior high school uneducated dipshit bully that he is. Don't get me wrong, DeSantis deserves every turd that comes flying his way from whoever flings it. It makes me happy that it's Trump, because it makes Trump look like a piece of shit, and it makes him look insecure. It makes him look like the fucking bully that he is. And anytime that the Republicans eat their own, it only warms the cockles of my heart. Ron DeSanctimonious. This is why I weep for this country, because I don't know who past the age of high school youth goes around and makes nicknames for people that he doesn't like. Like, how fucking mentally retarded do you have to be? How far out on the spectrum do you have to be where you think that that's not only funny, it's a legitimate recourse to dealing with somebody that you don't like or you don't respect, or that you hate? You make a nickname for them. I don't think I've made a nickname for anybody since I was playing football in high school. That's when nicknames stopped after that. Maybe one sticks with you because your bros hang out with you for the rest of your life. But otherwise, when you grow up, you start using people's names, or you just call them a piece of shit, or you call them an asshole like an adult. You don't make up these stupid fucking kid nicknames. Like I said, I don't feel sorry for DeSantis. Like I don't feel sorry for anybody, because there's people that are now feeling their oats, and they're like Nikki Haley just came out and said she's running for president in 2024. I think she's the first one to actually come out and say she's running. I know DeSantis keeps fucking jerking himself off, hinting around it, but he won't actually officially make the call. And Trump is going to shit on every single person that comes out and decides that they want to run against him. You can argue whether or not this helps or hurts Trump or the Republican Party, but know this: any of you Republicans that do run for president against him, everything he does to you, you deserve, because you all backed him when you knew he was a piece of shit. You knew he was bad for the country. All you could see was that he was mobilizing the most retarded of us in America, which turned out to be almost half the country, think the same way as Trump, act the same way as Trump, relate to Trump, which, like I said, is why I weep for this country, and I probably won't be sorry to see civilization end, because there's such a vast number of my fellow Americans that haven't got the first fucking clue. All you Republicans, he's going to shit on you. He's going to make you look bad. He's going to make fun of you. And then, when he does end up getting the nomination again, which is entirely possible, I say it's a coin flip at this point, whether or not he gets enough people to push him past everybody else. You guys are going to turn right around and ride his nutsack again, and you're going to look like Ted Cruz did when Trump shit all over him and his family, made it extremely personal, and then turned around and, became a cuck for him and was campaigning for him like the nutless fucking pussy that Cruz is. It just makes you Republicans, it makes you guys look so bad. All of you need to come out and say, hey, Trump sucks. We made a mistake. It's okay to admit that you fucked up. I would have so much more respect for Republicans if they just came out and said, you know what? Rather than run on policies and what was more important for the country, all we cared about was power, which is what Republicans care about most, is power. They don't care about governing. They don't care about meaningful policies. They don't care about the people. They care about money, power, and property. That's it. That's all they fucking care about. But I would have so much more respect for them if they just came out and said that, but would also take the moral stand for once and say Trump is not the right person for the job because he is so divisive and stupid and childish and uneducated and ill-equipped and unqualified. Fucking A. I can't think of a worse human being than Trump to run a country. So, DeSantis, good luck with him. You're going to fucking need it. Let's see, what else? While I'm thinking about it, there's a very, very disturbing thing happening in politics and the government, and that is the very, very real and momentous push by the religious right to get politicians to create policy that is absolutely bigoted. It's transphobic, it's homophobic, it's sexist, misogynistic, xenophobic, and I don't know how far it's going to go, but this is where I am going to beat religion over the fucking head because it has no place in politics, doesn't have any place in government, doesn't have any place in the real world. I know I say that I support your right to practice whatever religion you want as long as you can keep it to your fucking self and keep it out of my life, because I don't believe what you believe. I don't believe in science. I trust science. I know that it works. I know that it's repeatable. You believe in religion. That's why it's called faith, because there's no facts. So all of the decisions that are being made, like taking away the right to abortion, why? Because God thinks it's bad. God, I can't say it enough, God has killed so many innocent people throughout history, according to your book, not my book, your book. And you seem to just gloss over that. And then some people as well we hate the sin, not the sinner. Yes, you do. You hate the sinner too. Okay? And we're not sinners. None of us are sinners. Okay? That's your word. That's your made up shit. Atheist, the word atheist shouldn't even have to exist. It only exists because fucking religion exists. That we had to come up with a label or had to be labeled. It's because of religion. If we didn't have religion, we wouldn't need the word atheist, because we would all just agree that science is the way to go because it's real, it's repeatable, it's observable, it's provable. And if we learn something new, then we change our way of thinking to adapt to the data. We don't just say, well, the first thing we came up with must be the only way it can ever be, and if we find out that that's wrong, well, then you're wrong because it was the first thing we came up with, and so it must be right, and blah blah blah. That's what you sound like, okay? That's what you sound like. You sound retarded. Things change. You're allowed to change your mind based on what you learn. You can think one way, and then you learn about that thing and find out stuff you didn't know about, and then you change your mind and go, I learned something new. It makes sense. I can look at this differently. I'll change my position based off of what I've learned. You can't do that in religion. You can't do that, because that would be questioning the doctrine that everybody forces on themselves. Actually, they force it on everybody else. Most religious people don't live the life that they talk about and make others live by. They just want to tell you how to live so they can feel better about themselves. You can go fuck yourselves. Fuck right off. Religion should not play into abortion. It should not play into gay people having rights. It shouldn't play into whether or not slavery was a good idea or not, or justified, or that white people are better than black people. All of these things, people can use the Bible to justify. They can justify killing gays, killing black minorities, blacks, making women subservient. And it blows me away that there's so many women who are religious. Talk about the fucking chicken wanting to work for Colonel Sanders. Jesus Christ. How far away from yourself mentally do you have to be a woman and follow religious doctrine? You're supposed to listen to your husband and keep your fucking mouth shut, according to the Bible. You're property. You're pregnant, your body suddenly doesn't belong to you. It belongs to everybody else. It belongs to the government. It belongs to your husband. You belong to your husband regardless. But if you're pregnant, you lost whatever autonomy that you were managing to hold on to. You lost that once you become pregnant. And that's the way these people want the government to run the country. And it's not fair. Gay people are not the enemy. They're nothing to be afraid of. Pornography is not bad. It's like anything else. If it's used in excess, it's harmful. Just like alcohol, tobacco, and firearms. I've never once questioned my sexuality, even though I've had gay friends. I've worked with gay people. I see gay people on TV. Never Never once did it make me go, I wonder. Maybe I'm gay. No, I'm pretty confident I'm straight. Just like I'm confident that when a gay person says they're gay, I believe them. I don't think they chose it. I think that's who they were, and that's what they came to realize. Why is that so difficult? You know why it's not difficult for me to accept them as human beings and to be able to treat them as such? Because I don't have religion in my life. Religion is fucking evil. So I will come back to, I've changed my opinion that I now don't support you being able to believe in whatever God you want to believe in, because it only leads to bad things. You guys can't have religion because you don't know how to fucking use it. You don't know how to use it. You abuse it. And you punish other people for your own faults and your own horseshit beliefs. If you could have kept it in your churches, stayed out of politics, stayed out of other people's lives, stayed out of the government, you would have been fine. You're not being persecuted because we don't follow your rules. You're fucking up our lives by forcing your religion onto us through politics. Why is that so hard to understand? So no, I think religion needs to be banned. It needs to be banned. Done. Over with. Fucking tear down the churches, build, you know what you should do? Tear down the churches or and build community housing, for homeless people, or shelters or community centers, or convert the buildings into those things since they're already built and they were, everything was fucking tax-free anyways. And get rid of religion. If you want to believe in a God and you want to worship a God, you got to do it in your own home. Have people over to your house, sit in a little fucking cult circle with your fucking candles and the lights low, and wear your robes and fucking mumble and hum to yourselves and sacrifice whatever little animals you deem necessary, and read from 2,000-year-old books that are based on nothing but fucking hearsay and acid trips and bad dreams and wishful thinking, and let the rest of the world do what it's supposed to do, which is better itself, grow and evolve. And maybe a lot of the shit that's fucking up around the world would go away if we learn to work together. Learn to work together, stop arguing about whose dick is bigger, whose God's dick is bigger, and start working for humanity. Bettering people's lives like religion pretends it's for, that it supports. No, religion doesn't. Religion is a tool. It's a powerful tool used to control people to get things done that other people want. God damn. I fucking hate religion. I'm sorry. But it's the root of so many problems in this country. So enough about that for now. Arizona on Tuesday hit a new high in the hysteria over the most critical and horrifying of dangers that threaten our children. They're going to ban drag queen shows from allowing children to attend them, or basically they're going to make it illegal if you are in the accompaniment of a child and you expose them to any kind of drag show or any kind of show, theater, movie where the subject dresses in the opposite sex clothing and acts like them. They're going to make that illegal and punishable. Now, they say that they're attacking just the drag queens, but the way the law's written, from what I could understand of it, basically, you could get, your ass handed to you for exposing your kid to, any movie where any person dresses in the opposite sex clothes and acts like them. Mrs. Doubtfire. I mean, most of that movie is Robin Williams dressed like a woman, acting like a woman. Hairspray. John Travolta is dressed as the mom. That's drag. This is what I mean by religion becoming the biggest problem. Not the deficit, not war with other countries, not, homelessness. Homelessness could be cured if we got rid of religion, I promise you. Force everybody to start tithing to government programs that help people who are in need, and quit arguing that because maybe 5% or less of people abuse the system that helps the other 95% of people that need help. The government should step in and force people to act like Christians. God, what a world that would be if they were actually forced to act like Christians. But anyway, yeah, religion is becoming the number one problem because it's fucking up everybody else's lives that don't believe in it. And people in drag are not the problem. I would have no problem with my child. I still don't. I raised my daughter to understand that everybody is different, and nobody should be denied the basic human rights that we are all supposed to receive once we are born. Everybody should be treated with a little dignity and respect. Now, if a person turns out to be a piece of shit because of their personality or the way they act or the way they talk or through their actions, then you judge them accordingly. I don't judge people, and I didn't teach my daughter to judge people just based off of one characteristic and then to judge the entire group that happens to have that same characteristic. If a gay person does something bad, that doesn't mean all gays are bad. Just like white people do bad shit all the time, that doesn't mean all white people are bad. Black people do bad shit all the time. Not all black people are bad. Why the fuck is it so cookie cutter, childish and retarded in this country? Why are we not capable of any kind of critical thinking or existential thought, and willing to accept nuance in things? Gays are bad. Well, why are gays bad? Well, because God said. Okay, well, if I take away your horseshit religion, what leg do you have to stand on? Why are gays bad? If you don't have religion, why are gays bad? If you say it goes against nature, there are plenty of scientists and experts that will tell you that there have been numerous examples of what you would call homosexuality in the animal kingdom, and just because something's different than the norm does not mean it's bad. There are people that like pineapple on pizza. Are you fucking kidding me? You're putting fruit on a pizza? I think those people are weird. But I don't think they're horrible people. I think they have poor taste. And that's where it ends. I don't eat the pineapple pizza. I let them do it. They don't force me to eat their pineapple pizza. We can live in harmony. That's the way it works. If you're a guy and you want to stick your dick in the ass of another guy to get off, or his mouth, or whatever, if you're not forcing me to do it, I don't care. Do whatever you want in your own home. It's not my problem. When gays got married, I didn't once question my marriage because gays got married. It didn't cause me to question the sanctity of my marriage. How fucking weak is your marriage if a couple who you don't know at all, who are gay, get married? How does that make you question your marriage? How does that make your marriage weaker? How weak was your marriage before that happened? I'm sorry, honey. Dave and Steve got married. I don't know who they are. I just heard it in the news. Our marriage doesn't mean anything anymore. Holy shit. That's your reasoning? I can't get on board with that. So take away religion. What have you got? Nothing. People are different. Well, people are different all over. Have you visit a different state, visit a different city, talk to people. Everybody's different. Everybody's strange in their own way. And that's what makes it great. But at no point do we go around saying that they're bad because of it, or you're going to burn in hell, or you should be denied basic human fucking rights. And why am I, some fucking nobody dickhead in Ankeny, Iowa, in the middle of the country, in the Midwest, why am I having to say this shit? Why do I have to bring it to everybody's attention? How do I know this stuff and half of the people don't? It's disheartening. Anyway, what else we got? Blam blam. Marjorie Taylor Greene. I know she's been in the news recently. This fucking guy, Marjorie Taylor Greene, this guy is a horrible person. He's definitely got some mental issues. I cannot believe that she got reelected. He, she, whatever. It. I'm going to call her it. Because I know we're going to use the pronoun. We're going to call it a pronoun. We're going to call her it. It is mentally unstable. And it got committee assignments in the House of Representatives, which blows me away. That's how far down this government has fallen. And like I say a lot of times, I almost can't blame it for what it does, because it relates to a lot of people apparently, and they thought it would represent them and their beliefs in Congress, which tells you how, like I said, I weep for the country. This is why. There are lots of people. There was enough people that found it and its ideas and ways of thinking were relatable, and they thought it would be a good representation of them in the government. So Marjorie Taylor Greene, can go fuck itself. She's constantly crying about Twitter and her getting banned. I'm sorry, I didn't mean her. It. About it getting banned. Shadow banned or whatever. Yeah, I don't think Marjorie Taylor Greene's thoughts should be available to the world. I'm sorry. Does he have the right to have them? Yeah. But, rights do come with responsibility, and when you peddle disinformation and wacko fuck nut job horseshit, you should be punished for it. Let's see, what else? God, this one happened. This article, this guy died. It was in Brazil. He's a lawyer. He died after his gun was discharged by an MRI machine's magnetic field at the hospital. This gun-loving lawyer named Leandro Mathias de Novaes was taking his mother to get scanned at the Laboratorio Cura in Sao Paulo. Unbeknownst to hospital staff, the attorney had a registered firearm in his possession. Staff had reportedly asked the pair to remove all metal objects before entering the MRI room, as is protocol at hospitals due to the device's powerful magnetic field. However, this dickhead decided to go in without announcing he had a concealed weapon. Because you know how a lot of guys are in their fucking weapons, ammosexuals. I can't remember who came up with that word. It might have been Bill Maher. Great word, great adjective. Ammosexual. Just couldn't be separated from his weapon long enough to have his mom get a fucking MRI. So when the MRI was turned on, the MRI machine was turned on, it snatched his weapon, caused it to go off, shot him, and killed him. Now, is it sad? Yes, for his mom, probably. For his family, probably. But, you know, Darwin's best work happens from beyond the grave. And he's probably done this family a favor, and probably the world a favor. So it's not a tragedy. It's not a tragedy. I would not debase that word. Not a tragedy. Is it funny? To me, yes. And to people that think like me, yes, it's funny. It's funny in a way that a lot of things can't be funny because it makes people like me look bad, makes us look callous and indifferent, without a heart. But I got news for you. If you don't know your gun's made of metal and you think you need to have your gun on you in an MRI room, you've got some serious problems anyways. And if that MRI machine hadn't shot you, something else would have killed you. Possibly a dog with a gun in a back seat. Who knows? But you were going to get got. I gotta tip my hat to the universe for that one, Darwin. An MRI machine shooting and killing somebody. God damn. What else? You know, I think that's it for articles. There's a couple things I want to talk about while I've got your attention. There's a lot of people out there that are hurting for one reason or another, whether they're struggling financially, they're struggling with mental health, they're struggling with depression, sadness, loss of a loved one. You don't necessarily have to have a solution to their problems, but if you are a friend in any way, shape, or form, sometimes it helps just to randomly, reach out to them. If you're suffering from any of those things, don't turn people away. Get help. Talk to people. When somebody reaches out to you, take a moment of their time. They've offered it, and talk about things. If they're a real friend, they'll listen. And if you are a real friend, hear me out, you will listen. Even if you don't have the answers. Sometimes, and you don't have to do anything other than listen. And sometimes that's enough. A lot of times that's enough. Somebody just needs to vent. I know this better than a lot of people. I spent a lot of my life allowing people to vent to me because I was a really good listener. I still am. I was a good listener. People felt that they could trust me at a very early point on in our relationship, whatever it was. And I could be pretty objective about things while not being a complete dick about it, which was why I started studying psychology in college, because I really felt that being a therapist would have been a great field of endeavor for me. I think I could have helped a lot of people before I had my mental breakdown, because I did not allow myself or properly seek out an outlet, because I let everybody vent to me, but I never had anybody to vent to. I couldn't, my bosses didn't want to hear it. I couldn't take it home to my wife because she was, had her own mental issues, and I would talk to her about some stuff, and I would vent a little bit, but I I never really got it off my chest what I was really feeling, and I didn't want to bring it around my daughter if I didn't have to. So it just all built up, and then one day at work, the stress of everything finally got to me, and I just fucking snapped. Thought I had a heart attack. Turns out it was just a severe anxiety attack, but I fell apart after that. And it was a long road to get to where I am now, of recovery, of self-loathing, self-hate, depression, suicide attempts, social anxiety, fucking agoraphobia, you name it, PTSD. I still have nightmares about work fairly consistently. Bipolar now because of that, because I didn't seek out help when I should have. So if you're out there and you're hurting, talk to somebody. It doesn't matter who. Anybody that'll listen, especially friends. If you've got friends, just reach out and say, hey, do you have time to talk? And if they're a friend and they actually care about you, they will listen to you. They will listen to what you have to say. They won't turn it around and make it about themselves. Some of them may do that in a way to empathize and make you feel better. So, don't get upset if they do that. But if you're one of those friends that's listening to a person who's hurting, try not to turn it into a conversation about you, because it's not about you at that point. It's about them. And as long as you're listening and paying attention, it will be enough for that person. You don't have to show them you empathize because you've been in that position. That doesn't necessarily make a person feel better. It never made me feel better. I appreciated the thought, and I knew it wasn't intentional on their part. Sometimes it's very awkward. I understand. It can be awkward to be listening to somebody who you really want to help, you really feel compassion for and empathy for, but you don't have the answers, and you desperately want to fix it for them, but you can't. And it's not your job to fix it. They have to fix it. The person who's hurting has to fix it. They just need a little bit of help along the way, maybe a little bit of guidance, somebody that they can talk to and bounce ideas off of or vent to. You know what I'm saying? And you'll be a much better friend if you just do that. Just be there for them. I have some friends on Facebook who've gone through some loss recently, and they're struggling. And I think about them. I think about them all the time. And every once in a while, I'll drop them a message and say, "Hey, I am available, for you to talk to if you need it." And there's no ulterior motive. I have a girlfriend. I have a life. I'm not looking, I'm not looking for ways to get in on something and turn a situation into a power play. Some of my friends are female, and they're going through issues, and I pay attention a lot of the times because I'm trying to understand the human condition. And I watch these people, and I pay attention to their lives and what's going on, and what they say and what they post. So it kind of helps me understand how they think, because I've always been fascinated by the human brain and the human mind and its capacity for learning and feeling, and how it works, and the human struggle itself, the human condition. It's just how people deal with things, the decisions they make. Why do they make them? What caused them to get to that point? And so when I reach out and I say to somebody that, I haven't talked to them for a long time, I say, hey, just a reminder, I'm here if you need me. I mean it. And it's just for that reason. I'll talk to somebody for an hour or 2 hours, whatever it takes, if they just need to talk about shit. I can be an active participant in the conversation, or I can just listen. I don't care. If it means I'm helping somebody else, I'm okay with that. Because I'd rather I would rather take time out of my day, which, my time isn't worth much anyways. My girlfriend might say differently, but she's biased because she loves me and I love her to death. I don't deserve her at all, but I think the world of her. But, my time, I've raised my daughter. She's capable of being out on her own when she's ready. I've done my job. I mean, everything else from here on is just all revolves around me and what I want to do with the rest of my life. So, and if that means I can help people when they need it, then so be it. It's like this podcast that I'm trying to start. This is partly for entertainment. It's partly therapy for me, so I could get things off of my chest, because as you can tell, I get very passionate about the subjects that I talk about, and sometimes this is the best format and forum for me to express those ideas. I type like a motherfucker. I can write out, papers every day about my feelings on subjects, but when I got no place to post them. Who's gonna take the time to read 20 minutes to read something that I wrote? This audio video, I can say it as it's coming out, and then I can also hear what I'm saying, and then I can correct myself. Sometimes you can learn a lot about yourself while you listen to yourself talk, and so this is partly therapy for me. This is like I treat this as kind of like my diary. This is my my video diary of what goes on in my head, so I can get it off my chest, and then I don't have to talk somebody's ear off unless they feel like listening to it one-on-one. And then part of this is so I can help other people that might be thinking the same thing I am, but don't know how to express those thoughts, or just let them know that you're not the only one who thinks like you do. There are other people who think the same way. If I can help other people, it would be awesome. Now, the end game for this is also that I could turn this into something that I can monetize, that I can make money off of, and be a contributing member to the capitalist system. I don't know if I'll ever get there, but it's a nice thought. And then if I can make some decent money at this, it'll allow me to get myself properly situated comfortably, and then also be able to financially help other people when I can. Because I definitely believe that if you achieve a certain amount of wealth to where you're living comfortably, where you're not living paycheck to paycheck, then it doesn't hurt to be a philanthropist, so to speak, a humanist, somebody who can put a little money here and there in donations or to help out people in need. I definitely believe in that. I mean, I've talked about this with my family and friends a lot. Like, if I ever won the lottery, the first thing I'm doing is setting up my family, setting up me, my family, and my friends, which really won't take a lot. And after that, we're doing all kinds of shit. We're opening up. We're going to build, homeless shelters. We're going to build community centers. We're going to donate to those causes, and we're going to, cut through all the bureaucratic bullshit and get things done for people. I'm not concerned about the small percentage of people that might abuse the system. If my ideas are put into practice and they're able to help 95% of people that actually need it and they're not abusing it, then it's a win. If you can help anybody, it's a win. And no system's going to be perfect. So, that's just a little bit of insight into how I think. Create children's programs, after school programs, shit like that. Stuff that doesn't involve religion, stuff that involves the real world. I am going to be biased in that. I'm not doing anything for religion. Religion can go fuck itself. I'm going to do the actual real Christian thing and help people and not work the system and steal from them and fuck kids in the altar boy room and open up mega churches and make money off of people's hardships. Fuck that. But if I get to the point where people can subscribe to my Patreon or my Twitch or whatever, or my YouTube, and I can get monetized from people that can afford to chip in, $5 or $10 a month, then yeah, I will turn around and I will use my fame and financial resources to help others. And that's not so I can get into heaven. Fuck heaven. I don't want to be in heaven. The way it's described to me, I don't want to be in heaven. I'd rather go to hell. I would rather go to hell because that's where all the fun people are. It's because it's the right thing to do. And maybe I do at some point get involved in politics, not necessarily as a candidate, but get involved with somebody. Maybe I'm the catalyst who goes out and looks for that one person who's willing to stand up and say, hey, I don't have a religion. I don't need it. I'm a humanist. I'm a philanthropist. I'm not looking for power just for the sake of power. I'm not looking to be a politician to make money. I'm looking to get into government to make real change. Hey, yeah, I've done drugs before. I don't do them anymore. Or hey, yeah, I occasionally smoke marijuana. Yeah, I've watched porn. Yeah, I've jerked off. Yeah, I've said a bad word now and again. I'm a human. I'm a human being who's made mistakes, and I'll admit to it. Put me in office. I will tell you how it is. That's the candidate we need. So those are like my grand plans. Will they happen? Who knows? Do I deserve it? Probably not. But maybe this is one of those things that I'll be good at. Anyway, I appreciate you guys taking time out of your day to listen to me rant. I know it can't be easy hearing me go off on tangents sometimes, and I'm like a fucking squirrel with my attention span and how quickly I can jump from one topic to the next. But like I said, you know what? If you're hurting, get help. Talk to people. If you know somebody that's hurting, reach out to them and let them know you're available. Be kind to each other. Be a human being. Just be a decent human being to each other. That's all I ask. If we started there and we worked our way from a base of we're all human beings, regardless of who we like, who we dislike, who we have sex with, what we wear. If we can get past that stupid shit, we would find that we had a lot more in common than we originally thought. And maybe we could work together to get rid of these assholes in government and actually get people in there that will make it work properly. And make everyday life dealing with the everyday person a little more tolerable. I don't think that's too much to ask. It's doable. Will we get there? I don't know. This country's got a long way to go to unfuck itself just to get back to ground zero. But there's this eternal optimist that's buried deep inside a cave in my heart that says we can do it regardless of what I see and hear every day in the news. We'll just have to wait and see. Anyway, like I said, thanks for listening. This was episode 6 of the NyteTime podcast. I am your host, Matt Higgins. You guys have a good week. Till next time.